Hey everybody, welcome to part 17 of Wolves on the BackBit. New day, new idea. Well, yesterday's little bitmap adventure turned out to be kind of a dud, didn't it? So, that's not going to deter me. Another day, another idea. This time around, I am back to the color RAM with a different tactic. You'll see. It's a lot of it is somewhat deja vu, at least for me, because I can't really remember when is the first time that I come across this particular method. It might be today, because in the end, I end up using this. So good, but on this particular day, I think I'm tinkering with it some more. I revisit the bitmap a bit. And, there's a lot more theory again. Another, 20 some minutes here. I'll try to trim out some stuff so you're not stuck here all day. But hey, we're almost at the end. We're almost done this whole series. So good job sticking around for all this. I'm proud of you. Good stuff. I hope you're picking up a little bit of, wisdom, I guess, on my account because my mistakes don't have to be your mistakes. And that's, you know, um, it's time well spent, basically, because what takes me days to screw up, you can learn not to do in about 20 minutes. So let's get to it. Part 17, new day, new idea. Let's watch. Well, it's a new day and new idea. This is an old thing. This is my color looker-matum program. The border here is the designated background color. I'll just hold the button down. There's the fish going by. There's Gabu slurping up the water. Now everything is drawn as a solid block that's meant to go into the color RAM. Now the trick is, and the RetroPixels program never assigned black as the background. Never. I made sure if it checked for it, it would freeze, and it never did. Okay, there's a good shot. Now, everything that is a color is obviously needs to be written. Everything that's black is one of two things. It'll either be actual black that's needed for the image, or not needed at all, but I can't tell the difference unless I analyze the bitmap data and go over and look for the 1-1 bit pair. So part of what you see that's black can be skipped in every single frame, and part of it needs to be written. Yesterday's event where I was chasing this, the compression stuff for the bitmap, turned out to be a dud. It slowed it down more than otherwise. And the file's about to end, and it's going to freeze. Why does it freeze? Because I told it to. There. Because the background color is now black. And it said if there's ever black, you panic and you halt. So there we go. But yeah, I don't know if this is even worth chasing now, because it probably won't pan out after all. All right, we got something different again. Back to the color RAM. I let's get to something important. There. I have it set up so it looks for chunks of 4 repeated ones in a line to 4. As you can see, 4, 4. The little pieces of black are getting ignored. My idea that I'm chasing this time is possibly there's a way to compress that so it can ignore it, but I will still have to examine the bitmap and make sure that those aren't actually needed colors. And I know for this guy, that's his face. He doesn't got any black in it. Well, maybe in his eye, right? But that's for the automated program to figure out. And my previous attempt at compressing the bitmap, well, I did learn one thing. I learned how to write back to the bitmap, or the BackBit file. So in this case, what I can do is use this, what I see on screen, as my temporary buffer, Read, obviously I got the frame queued up anyway. I can go read the bitmap file behind the scenes, compare it to what's here, blah, 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 and tweak this and then write that back where it's supposed to go. And then I can try yet again a way to squeeze a bit more time out of this. It's just, oh, it's so irritating. 93%. If I ignore almost half of the coloring that has to happen, I can get it to 100%. I just threw some numbers out there as a demo, but obviously you need to set the colors. But hopefully this will get it close enough, save enough time. Like these frames are juicy. That'll save me tons of time. But the ones that are very busy might actually cost more. And sadly, that's what happened when I tried to compress the bitmap. It ended up slowing it down even more. And this is about to end. And you're going to see a bunch of gibberish here as it starts reading the audio information. Here we go. Boom. What a mess. Not a very compressible mess. There's a lot of A's though. All right, this time, check it out. See it change? Now the solid squares, it takes so long to examine because it's actually looking at every single bit pair in the entire bitmap. Looking for, see look, there's a couple that are, those are true blacks. Those are needed for the picture. All the squares are now designated as unreferenced by the bitmap. It doesn't care what they are. There's a single black, another black, a few actual blacks, but all of this, all the squares can somehow be encoded possibly to skip. But you can't check every single as you go. You can't compare it with skippable, because to branch or not to branch, even if you're checking the high bit flag like BMI, BPL, it's going to cost 2 cycles no matter what. And a read from the BackBit is 4 cycles. A write to memory is 5. That's 9 per byte minimum. Using an index, of course, you have to use an index. But that becomes 11 if I'm checking on every single one to skip. And I don't think I want to do that. That's a possibility. But that's why I was planning to have them in groups of 4. So if I can find a juicy group of 4, it can skip a bunch and then check again. But there'll be lots of cases, as you've already seen, that will end up having to write them anyways. All right, what do we have this time? Check it out. So what's different? Well, let's get it to some busy frames and I'll show you. This is still revising the color. What it's doing, it's scanning over the bitmap. There we go. It scans over the bitmap, turns everything that isn't referenced to a block, but then you'll watch, it'll quickly put some back. See? Watch. Bing. Because afterwards, it scans over it and it only isolates chunks of 4. Because I realized a good, simple way is basically when it's writing the color, if the first chunk is negative, you know, the high bit is set, just jump ahead 4, period. I already have code in place that I think writes them, was it 1 at a time, something, or maybe a group of 16. I can change it simply. But having a group of 4 skippable at once might be enough to still be fast without having to, you know, I was thinking of a way of encoding into the high bit, or not the high bit. The high bit says skip, and then the lower bits can say where to go. But there's a little bit of math involved. But this is keep it simple, stupid. You know, the KISS method. This might work, even though in some frames a lot gets put back. But I can only look for chunks of 4 anyway. So like here, it would actually have to go skip, 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 instead of a single skip with a little bit of math to get directly there. And of course, page crossing and stuff adds complexity to it. With the code I already have in place, it will take very little revision to make this work. I might need to make a separate routine that also reads it from the BackBit as compressed flags so it can skip buffering what it doesn't need to buffer. But it's basically a duplication of the code that writes it to the screen. Yeah, pretty cool, eh? I guess I'll show you when it's done. I'm thinking 98%, I hope. Well, I think I got it, and I'm either corrupting my BBT beyond repair and I'll have to load it again, or this is actually going to work. So let's see, I'll hit the button, we'll see. It's a cue and a save. The first flash, bringing in the frame. The longer flash is writing back the color. And all I have to do now, because I programmed it this way, I have to hold the button down. I can't wait to see if this actually works. And the thing is, I'm only changing the color data, but in such a way that I will not need to revise my program as it sits. It'll still play it because these dark pieces, it don't matter. It wasn't used anyway. See, like if I press it, right? So all these are going to get skipped eventually, but it doesn't matter if it tries to write them to the color RAM or not. Actually, the square, I changed the character. It used to be 250, and I changed it to, I forget what it is, but because 250 and 15, I think made an 8, so it would be a color. I just wanted to make it 250, or whatever it is, and 15 to make it a 0. I think I chose 240 as possibly this particular character. Things are speeding up. I like this. I'm on like a little holiday from work. I've got 13 days left before I have to go back, and I'll feel good about myself if I can actually get this done, because it's now August 1st. It's slightly after midnight, and I've been working on this since October of last year. Obviously, hardly any in the past several months, but this might be it. I'm finally wrapping this sucker up, and then I got to make some videos, obviously, because you're watching this now. This again, yes. Okay, we turned it down. I had to make one change to my code because it's getting the background color from a different spot now. And then I quickly hacked in my color writer change to deal with the skippable parts. Only the writer, so it's grabbing the entire color RAM stuff from the BackBit, but it's obeying the skip me flags when it writes it to the screen. So we'll see in a moment, through the magic of editing, what percentage gain I get from this. And yet there's one more savings to be had if I can get it from the BackBit in skipped format as well. But let's see what this does. Anyway, this is the first time. I didn't run this already without you guys watching. What do you think 93% becomes? My guess, serious guess, probably 94. Damn! It is 94. That sucks. All that work. But if I get it off the BackBit in compressed format too, maybe it'll go to 95, or maybe higher. We'll find out. But bummer, all that work, eh? I'm so close to just giving up and finishing at 90 whatever percent. Damn. Looky here. It is 3:23 in the morning. Well, I've been tinkering with my program, trying this and that. Obviously, this didn't make a difference. I killed some of the debugging features. I found a few tweaks. I saved myself hundredths of a second, the tiniest portion. 97%. Now I am in the money here. Well, it also corrupted the sound. But I'm going to show you guys tomorrow what I actually did. I did not fix the color compressy thingy yet. This was more bitmap tweaking. And oh my, I think this with the color cruncher might be what it takes to get this sucker to 100. This is neat because I had an idea based on a bad idea, and I chased it, and it's middle of the night, and I just had to document the fact that I got it to 97, even though it's just completely pooched. I mean, here, let me start it up for you. Look at this mess. Yeah, and the audio's screwed too.
Oh, the water always tastes so good here.
But that's not the point. I fudged it just to pretend, and yeah, I'll show you tomorrow.
Much better. Too bad you didn't get better sooner. Yeah, sort of.
Now this is partway into my plan. The black, of course, there's a reason for it. I'll try to explain real quick. In the case of a cell that is all background color, it will skip it. It doesn't buffer it in on the bitmap. However, it's reading the old information from a previous frame, because that buffer still has some information in it, and it's getting shown. And the color and the video matrix are all set to black on the frames, like on the cells where, sorry, it's like after 5 a.m. The cells that are just background color, the RetroPixels program makes sure the video matrix and the color RAM are both set to black. But because there's already information in the buffer, you see those colors. Now the way around this is, in the instances like I'm finding and detecting, you go to the color, like the video matrix and the color RAM, and you change them both to the background color, right? Now I'm not going to get as big of a boost as before, the 97, no, it's probably 94 or 5. Oh! Did you see that? Youch. I wonder what I did wrong here. Now before, it was skipping anything that began with a 0 as the first line of the cell, and so there was a lot of zeros, I guess, and it got me a little excited because it was skipping chunks of everything, including in the audio file. So I had to have a separate generic routine for it and the video matrix, and everything really, one for each of the things. But I think I have. This is what it does, right there. See, if the first line is blank, it jumps ahead, and then if that one's blank, it jumps ahead. But the difference is it's now having to do a bit more math. But I thought this would have paid off even better. Now there is a few instances where the first, like say the cell is 8 lines, right? And if they're all white, if they're all 0, then we'll read a 0 and we'll skip it. But if there's 0, 0, 0, and then something, well, that first line is a 0, it's going to skip it anyway. No, now it can't, because there is information in that cell that needs to be drawn. So in lieu of a 0, I actually put a value of 1. So it actually corrupts the photo, like the picture, puts a small dot of the lowest video matrix color, hopefully that you don't notice. But why am I only getting 92%? What a pain in the butt. I thought for sure this was going to get some savings here. Later on, you have stuff like this that's very active color-wise and is actually making it fall behind. Yeah, it's pretty slow. Let's check it out. Yeah. It was a good idea, but a bad idea. Another bad idea. Well, now you know, and I'm sorry I got all excited. I'll have to think about this when I try to go to sleep tonight. It's one of those things again. I won't be able to sleep because I'll be thinking about it. No, it's not what you think. I completely pooched it again, but just for fun, I thought, let's see what happens if you skip any cell that begins with the very popular 85. Well, you get a frickin' mess is what happens. But I'm still trying to think about ways to skip bitmap cells. It is 5:42 in the morning. I can barely think anymore, so I'm going to have to stop. But yeah, obviously, duh, what a mess, right? But there is a way to skip the cells and just make sure that the video matrix and the color RAM are set to the background color to compensate. I'll have to think about this, obviously, when I'm trying to go to bed instead. I think my coffee's finally wore off anyways. But yeah, I don't know if I'm going to chase this at all or if it's actually going to work, but I was getting about 91% when I was trying to do it normally. So I threw a very nice number in there just to see how good it can become. But yeah, this is obviously too promising and very unlikely. Yeah, it isn't even playing like repeats. It's skipping the other 7 bytes in the thing. Yeah,